What's up guys, welcome back once again to Daily Reviews. Today I'm going to be checking out the Inwin F5. I've recently done a sort of overview video showing you all the things that this case can do. And today we're doing the build in it. I'm not going to show you the actual build, I'm just going to show you the parts that go in it, and I'm going to show you B-roll of what it looks like afterwards. This is what I'm calling my Project Red Devil because it's got my Red Devil 7900 XTX in it, and I'm going to have a red theme on it. So after that I'll do some B-roll, show you what it looks like inside, show you what the final build looks like. Like I say, it's going to have red theme, but I will show you a few bits in the B-roll with RGB and stuff like that on them as well, so you can see what it looks like when it's lit up completely. I've got a few little mod things I've got basically to put in this, which I'll quickly show you. They're not completely finished yet, but I'll show you those at the end as well. And then we'll do some temperature testing, see how well this case performs. So we'll do the case with the panels off, and then we'll do it with the panels on, and we'll see basically what the airflow's like. So that's it guys. Let's get into this build, show you what it looks like, and then basically do some testing and see how it performs. Right, first of all, so let's get some gaming testing done, see how well this performs. We'll also see the temperatures here as well, and I'll show you those after with the case open as well to see how well it goes. So you know the specs of the system: 7900X, 7900 XTX, 32GB RAM, all of that good stuff. Obviously that's been shown previously. So let's go into the settings and set this up. Let's go graphics, custom run high. Let's leave FSR on quality just to see how it performs, because I think it gives you the best sort of balance between the two. We're on 5120 by 1440, that's this size of the screen. We'll do 1440p afterwards to see how we get on and see how much it changes. And so that's it, let's run that benchmark and see how we get on. So as you can see, obviously the graphics look absolutely incredible. We're getting around 78, 80 sort of frames per second at the moment, which is pretty good. For saying we're on 5120 by 1440, ultra wide, ultra settings, looking absolutely beautiful. Obviously it's a single player game, so it can be played quite happily at this level. not a problem whatsoever. Getting over 100 frames per second. Obviously, I know this is the benchmark, but I just want to give a rough idea of what you can get out of this. Looks absolutely stunning. No ray tracing on this. I'll do some ray tracing after this just to see how well it performs. Personally, I don't use ray tracing, but for people out there that want to see it, I'll include that. But yeah, looking absolutely fantastic. So that's the benchmark complete. I can see average of 82.67, minimum of 58.42, not too bad. Max of 125 times 64.23 number of frames, blah, 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 blah. See all the specs there. Let's go back to the settings, quickly change this down to 1440p, so we get an idea of that. I won't do 1080p. You're not spending this kind of money on a system and doing 1080p, so I'm not going to do that today. So we're down at 1440p. Let's run that and see what we do. Right, it's 1440p benchmark is run, and again, the same settings, ultra, DLSS on quality. We've got an average FPS of 149 frames with a minimum of 74. That minimum's fairly low compared to the average, but it's not too bad. It wasn't noticeable that it was dropping down that low. Probably between scenes, to be fair, that it was giving us that. Max FPS of 259, again, there's probably somewhere between scenes and things like that. So absolutely fantastic gaming on this. Let's put some ray tracing on just to see how it goes. I don't expect it to be great. Let's go ray tracing ultra, why not? We're not going to do path tracing because that will just be ridiculous and we won't get anything from that. So yeah, let's let's see how we get on. So we're now running ray tracing ultra preset. 1440p. As you can see, we're down to 70 odd frames per second, so we've kind of halved our frames per second. Again, it is a single player game, so it's not too much, it's not that bad, to be fair. Personally, sorry if you disagree with me massively, I literally can't see a difference with ray tracing on. We'll probably see a bit when we come outside, because there's all sort of reflections and stuff going off. Let's have a look at this water down here. Yeah, I mean, there in the water, I can definitely see the difference. It definitely looks more realistic. But personally, I don't use ray tracing because, yeah, it's not something you really notice if you're deep in your game, and that's just the way I like to play. But if you like ray tracing, then this is the kind of thing you can get on 1440p. I'll do a quick one on the ultra wide just so we can see where it falls. It is obviously going to tank it quite a lot. But we'll see if it's going to be at a playable frame rate. So the 1440p ray tracing is finished, and that's at 78 average, which is very, very good. A minimum of 53, again, it's relatively low, but again, it's probably between scenes and the max of 129. So for ray tracing at 1440p, obviously Cyberpunk's one of the hardest games to run. I won't try path tracing because I don't think it'll go well at all. So if you're interested in your ray tracing, it can do pretty well. Obviously, it depends on the game, but this is one of the hardest things to run as far as I'm aware. So yeah, there we go. I'll quickly do one in 14 in ultra wide just to give you more idea of how it would be at 4K, and we'll go from there, and I'll show you what the results are at the end. So ray tracing at ultra wide 5120 by 1440, average of 48.68. Obviously not massive, it's bound to have come down quite a lot. Minimum of 37, max of 63. Yes, I know that's quite low in today's standard. However, it is almost 4K, and it's Cyberpunk at ultra ray tracing. So yeah, it has come down, but this is just so you know, it is doable. 48 is still playable for sure. Obviously, you will notice the difference between that and like 120 plus. You should know, well, you probably will notice the difference anyway, but again, it's a single player game, so it's not too bad. So just give you an idea of how well it performs. Game looks absolutely beautiful. So I know I've used FSR on quality settings. Apologies if that's not what you wanted to see. However, if you want to know what it runs at without it, hit me up in the comments and I'll post those in a pinned comment for you to see, just so you've got an idea. But yeah, in terms of temperatures, it's 17.8 degrees in here at the moment, and as you can see, we're at 55, and we've got a maximum of about 62 whilst I was playing that. So very good cooling in this case with the case closed. I'll whip the panels off now, and then I'll tell you how well it performs there. Right, so we've got the panels off. We're running again at 5120 by 1440 ultra ray tracing to push this GPU as hard as we possibly can. And as you can see, we're at 61, 62 degrees. It got to about 62, 63, I believe, when the case was closed. So it's not a massive difference at all. shows that this case is really good for really good for airflow. It's doing an absolutely fantastic job. GPU's barely breaking a sweat. So temperature test, fantastic, very good. What we'll do is we'll do a couple more games just to show you how well it performs. I'm not going to do loads because you've seen how well this hardware performs from other people's builds, I assume. Anything you want to know in terms of specs and how it runs, then let me know and I'll sort of get back to you if I can about that. So let's get on to the next game. Let's have a look and see how well it performs. Right, so next game is going to be Spider-Man Remastered. And we're going to run it at the same settings again. So 5120 by 1440, highest settings available, AMD FSR at quality. And to start with, we're going to have no ray tracing on. So that's that. Let's get into the game and have a look. So here we are in the game, 5120 1440p, highest settings available, and AMD FSR at quality. And as you can see, we're getting 150 odd, high 150s in this scene at the moment. And I have to say, it looks absolutely stunning. This is such a nice looking game anyway, but on this hardware it looks beautiful. And as you can see, as we're swinging around the city, getting obviously a bit more populated now, we're dropping down sort of low 90s, 100s, something like that. High 80s very briefly, and it's still just looking absolutely incredible. Again, a single player game, so this kind of frame rate is going to be absolutely fine for you. So yeah, I can't complain with this at all. It looks absolutely lovely. So that's the ultra wide settings. Like I say, it is almost 4K. That's why I like to do the settings. I don't have a 4K monitor, so this is as best as I can get close to it. And obviously you can see it performs absolutely incredible. So let's bump those settings up to let's drop it down to 1440p first. Right, so hopefully you can see this. I'll just zoom it in so you can see it a bit better. So now we're on 1440p. Obviously it's in windowed now, otherwise 1440p, the standard 1440p looks absolutely horrible. So we've dropped down, we're 1440p and we're still similar sort of frame rate, to be honest with you. Still doing sort of the same thing. We are getting a bit higher, up above 120. Obviously it depends where you are in the city. We'll try and swing around quite a few places to give you a better idea, but it was up at 130s there, so we've gained a little bit there. Obviously you've got FSR presets available to you if you want to use those. Obviously we're on quality at the moment. You can push it up to performance and it'll obviously fly. Personally, I don't really notice much of a difference in terms of quality either. I think it still looks absolutely incredible. So that's that at 1440. Let's stick ray tracing on. Right, we've got ray tracing reflections on. Let's go back to the game. And we've not lost any, well, we have lost a bit, but we're down at like 80s to up towards 100, and we're on ray trace reflections. It's just reflections on this one, I believe. I don't know. There's no more settings for this. Again, it's not something I really notice, especially on a game like this, which is quite sort of fast-paced, swinging around the city and stuff like that. It's not something I personally notice. But if you're interested in that, then you're looking at 80 plus for your frames per second. Let's quickly bump that back up to 1440p ultra wide. See how we get on. So now we're ray trace reflections. So now we're ray tracing at 5120 by 1440, and again it's pretty much the same as it was at 1440. It's doing an absolutely fantastic job. Yeah, we're getting above hundreds now. It seems to be doing better somehow. I don't know, unless it's something to do with the running in full screen and things like that. We've got getting a few little glitches there. I'm not sure what's going off. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's happening here, but it's not been a problem before. So yeah, ray tracing at almost 4K. We're looking at up to about 100 frames per second here. So absolutely fantastic. Let's just get down on the floor and have a quick rotate around so you can see how lovely this game actually looks. Again, we're going off here, but you can see it looks absolutely awesome. So that's it, guys. Next game is coming up, and we'll see how we perform. Right, so last up, we're going to do Dying Light 2. I think this is quite a good game to test it. It's quite a populated game, things like that. We'll run the benchmark just to make things easier and more comparable. So first of all, let's sort our settings out. 5120 by 1440p. Again, let's go FSR quality because I want to show how well this goes. We're on high quality settings. Is there an ultra? No, there's not an ultra, so we'll go high quality settings. We'll leave it at DirectX 11 for now, and then we'll do ray tracing afterwards. Because if you put DirectX 12 on this, it puts it into the ray tracing straight away. Everything at high, as you can see. Looking absolutely lovely. Save that. And let's run that benchmark. Right, so I've gone into the game because for some reason the benchmark was acting strange. And as you can see, here we are. So 5120, 1440p, highest settings available. No ray tracing on at the moment, FSR at quality, and you can see we're getting 100 frames per second. This isn't a particularly easy game to run, so it's performing very, very well. Let's have a little swing over here and have a look. Bit more populated around here. So 110 odd frames per second, looking absolutely stunning. As you can see on this game, looks absolutely beautiful. So let's pop that down to 1440p. So now we're at 1440p, high quality again, obviously everything's the same, and we're up at 150 plus frames per second, down to 140. Again, looking absolutely stunning. Looks absolutely, it looks just, this game's an awesome looking game. If you've not played it, then I highly recommend it. I really, really like this game. As you can see, performing absolutely beautifully. So 1440p is obviously going to be quite a lot better than the 5120 by 1440, as that's almost 4K. But both settings still performs absolutely beautifully. Again, another single player game, so potentially don't need crazy amounts of frames, but yeah. So 5120 by 1440p, again ultra ray tracing, and we're still at almost 100 frames per second. Like I say, FSR is on quality, so mid to high 90s. We're almost getting at 100, depends on obviously where you are. We're over 100 there. It looks absolutely fantastic. Yeah, absolutely amazing. So there we go. Ray tracing definitely doable on this graphics card. Yes, it's not going to be as amazing as the RTX 40 series for sure. Obviously, NVIDIA still have the edge when it comes to ray tracing, but it's there if you need it. Again, ray tracing, you'll probably a lot of people will disagree with me, but I literally don't notice the difference. So personally, I wouldn't use it anyway. I'd rather have the higher frames per second. So that's it, guys. Let's go back up top. We'll do a bit of testing for Cinebench for CPU temperature in this build, and then we'll go from there. Right, so just doing a Cinebench multi-core test to see how well the cooling is for CPUs. Obviously, we've done GPUs in the gaming benchmarks to give you an idea. So we're just coming up to the end of a 10-minute run multi-core test for throttling here on Cinebench. We're in the last minute now, and I'll just zoom that in so you can have a look. And these are our temperatures. We've got a maximum of 86 and a current of 85, average of 85. Sorry, my screen's just gone off. So basically, I started this test up to about with 4 minutes to go with the covers off, and then basically it's crashed for some reason, but never mind. I think it's just because it turned the screen off, it's crashed it. But we've still got the temperatures there, so we can talk about those. Like I say, we've got a maximum of 86 and average of 85, so it was pretty much at 85, 86 for the whole entire test. First 6 minutes were done with the covers on. With covers off, and then I stuck the covers on just to see in that last 4 minutes how much it would rise, and it pretty much didn't. It might have been 85 max and it's gone up to 86, but yeah, even if that, it's absolutely fantastic. Done a great job. Obviously I know 85 is a lot, but it is a 7900X 12 core 24 thread CPU, which do run very, very hot anyway, but it's keeping it well within check. It's 10 degrees away from its throttling temperature. In terms of clocks, we're running at 5.2 all core for all of that. And as you can probably tell, the test is now finished. I don't know what's happened with that, but the test is now finished and it's just calmed right back down, so that's why it's got a lot quieter in here. So that's it, guys. That's Cinebench done. thermal temperature, thermal testing for the case done for CPU, absolutely fantastic. So let's go back up top and I'll have a quick word about what I think of this case and the build in general. Right, so there we have it, my Project Red Devil in the Inwin F5 in white with the wood panelling. Yeah, so obviously Project Red Devil because I'm using the Red Devil 7900 XTX, which I absolutely love, beautiful card, and I've set everything to red, and that's my theme for this. Obviously I've shown you in the B-roll what it looks like with the RGB lights on as well, so you got an idea of how well how good the lighting looks in this with this setup. So you can see an overall view of what it looks like with my red setup and obviously the colours as well. You should have noticed this panel up here. This isn't the finished one. Apologies, I've just not had time to finish it off. But because these panels are interchangeable on the front, as mentioned in my previous video about this case, if you've got a 3D printer or someone that's got access to a 3D printer, you can actually make your own panels. Inwin don't provide the files. I was lucky enough to get them, but Inwin don't provide them. They may provide them to you if you contact them. I don't know, but obviously because they support the channel, they've let me do it, which is nice. But they're quite easy to figure out. You could design it probably quite easily. And make your own panels. As you can see, I've done a Red Devil panel. I've also got a few more which are going to get painted up. So I've got another Red Devil one without the Red Devil writing, and this is just in white because this is on a different printer. That was done on a resin printer. This is done on an FDM printer. So this one will get painted up, and I've also, to show my appreciation for Inwin, I've done one with their logo on as well, which with this wood panel. You can actually take the screws out and just stick this piece to just a flat piece, so it makes it easier for printing. You don't have to print the actual connectors to get it in there. So I've got those two as well. I'll do some shorts probably in the future with different designs I've come up with. I'm hoping to try and figure something out where I can put an LCD panel up there to show temperatures and things like that. That would be really cool. So in terms of the build, I think it looks absolutely awesome. I'm really happy with it. It really looks nice. I'm over the moon with it, how the way it's come out. Obviously this case does this build justice as well. It's such a lovely case. This is the F5 full tower case from Inwin. I may do water cooling this in the future, or I may go back to a different case. I'm not sure what I'm doing with that yet. But yeah, it looks absolutely stunning. I really like it. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of this build, what you'd change, what you like, what you don't like, that kind of thing. One thing that I wasn't happy with, but this isn't the fault of the case or anything like that, it's where the cables, my custom cables go for the motherboard and to the GPU, because they're so close, because I've got a vertical mount. They're sort of like overlapping and touching each other, and it was quite a squeeze to get them in there because I've got really chunky modded cables, and it's 3 times PCIe connectors for this graphics card, so obviously there's a lot there. If you was in a horizontal mode, it wouldn't be an issue at all, because the cables would obviously come around the front of the graphics card and won't go anywhere near those. But that's that. I've done obviously thermal temperatures. You've seen the gaming benchmarks, how well it performs. Performs absolutely brilliant. Even ray tracing is doable in this. A fairly good frame rate. Yes, it's not going to match your RTX 4090s or even 4080s for ray tracing performance, but obviously AMD are a little bit behind on that at the moment. Hopefully they'll catch up in the future. Personally, I'm not a ray tracing fan, but if you are, you can do it on this. So obviously you weigh up pricing and specs and performance and whatever you want to get out of your system, whether you decide to buy something like this or whether you'd prefer to go with an RTX from NVIDIA. In terms of the case, absolutely a breeze to build in. Really easy. There's so much room in there, loads of room for cable management in the back. Like I said, I've done a previous video on this so you can see what that's like and what you can fit in this and everything like that. I'll leave links in the description below for you to have a look at as well. I was worried about the way the AIO mounts on this. As you can see, it sort of mounts like like that way round at the back kind of thing on the PSU shroud at the top. I thought that might impact on the cooling, but it doesn't seem to have at all. Obviously I can't do a apples to apples comparison of what it would be the other way, because you can't do that in this case. But the cooling is absolutely fantastic. I think that's in part to the fact that on the top here, although you can't mount any fans or anything like this, is a big open grill here, so it can also pull air in from there, and actually I can feel it pulling air in from there as well. So you're not just relying on your intake fans here to get air into it. They can be more concentrated on your GPU. It actually can pull air in from the top here as well. I haven't utilised it, but you can also put up to a 420 at the bottom as well. Three 140mm fans, three 120mm fans at the bottom, so you can get even better airflow in this if you wanted to cool that graphics card even more. But as you saw, the graphics card temperatures are absolutely fantastic. 62 degrees I think was the maximum we're getting with ultra ray tracing on Cyberpunk. So yeah, there's no worries there whatsoever. But these coolers on these new graphics cards are overbuilt anyway, so you don't really tend to get many problems with cooling on GPUs these days, or the newer ones anyway. In terms of the cooling, I didn't mention it before, I basically left it on the motherboard's preset for like sort of balance setting for the fan speeds. I normally do everything at 100% just to give you the best possible results. However, it basically kicks in and ramps them up to pretty much 100% anyway when needed. Like I said, the graphics card barely broke a sweat. The fans didn't even really spool up much there. I couldn't even hear the graphics card when it was doing its game testing. Wasn't a problem whatsoever. So yeah, that's it. That's my build. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. I'm really impressed with how well this has turned out, and it's probably going to be my personal rig case for a while now. Until I decide what I'm doing with water cooling and things like that. But stay tuned for that. There will be videos coming for that. So that's it, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, whether you would build a system like this, what you would change, what you'd put in differently. Would you go RTX instead of RDNA? What would you do differently? What do you like about this? Let me know if you think I've made any errors or anything in terms of the design of it, or what I could have done differently to make it look better. But I personally think it looks great. So again, but I'm always happy to hear from you guys if you've got anything to say about this build. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe and like it. If you didn't like the video, then dislike, but you can still subscribe if you like. And like I said before, leave all the comments in the comment section below if you have anything to say about this. So thank you for watching, and have a good day, and goodbye.